After 3 days without sleep, your brain starts dreaming while your eyes are still open. You won't know it's happening. You'll see things that aren't there, hear sounds that don't exist, and your brain won't tell you the difference between what's real and what it invented. In 1964, a 17-year-old boy tested exactly how far the human brain can go before it breaks. What happened over the next 11 days was so disturbing that this type of experiment was banned forever. It started as a high school science fair project. Two teenagers in San Diego wanted to break the world record for the longest time without sleep. The previous record was about 10 days set by a radio DJ. They figured they could beat it. One of them volunteered to stay awake. He was 17, completely healthy, totally normal. He had absolutely no idea what his brain was about to go through. Day 1 was easy. He felt fine. A little tired by midnight, but nothing unusual. Day 2 was still manageable, groggy but functional. But by day 3, his brain started glitching. He couldn't finish his own sentences. Simple math became impossible. When you haven't slept for 3 days, your brain loses the ability to hold a thought long enough to complete it. Imagine trying to read a sentence but forgetting the beginning before you reach the end. That's what was happening inside his head. By day 4, a sleep researcher from Stanford heard about the experiment and flew in to observe. What he found was both fascinating and deeply unsettling. The boy's eyes were open, but his brain was already shutting down in pieces. Tiny moments called microsleeps were happening without him knowing. His brain was so desperate for rest, it was stealing sleep in fragments of seconds. To everyone watching, he looked awake, but inside his brain was flickering on and off like a broken light. Day 5, his body started falling apart too. He couldn't catch a basketball anymore. His speech slowed down, his reactions lagged behind, and then the hallucinations started. He saw fog where there was no fog, shapes moving in the corners of his vision. His brain couldn't tell the difference between being awake and dreaming anymore. The boundary between those two states was dissolving right in front of the researchers. Days 6 and 7 were when his personality started changing. He became paranoid. He thought people around him were working against him. His emotions became completely unpredictable. One moment laughing, the next frustrated over absolutely nothing. Here's why that happened. Every night when you sleep, your brain resets your emotional processing system. It's like rebooting a computer. Without that reset, your brain loses the ability to manage how you feel. His brain hadn't been reset in almost a week. His emotional operating system was crashing. By day 8, his hands were shaking so badly he could barely hold a pencil. Researchers gave him a simple test. Subtract 7 from 100 and keep going. He got to 65 and stopped. When they asked why he stopped, he said he'd forgotten what he was doing. He forgot the task while he was still doing it. His short-term memory had essentially stopped working. Days 9 and 10, his brain was running on almost nothing. He was technically awake, eyes open, walking and talking, but the researchers discovered something remarkable. Different sections of his brain were taking turns shutting down, while others stayed active. His brain had invented its own survival strategy. It couldn't get full sleep, so it started putting individual regions to rest one at a time, like a city turning off power to different neighborhoods to avoid a total blackout. He was awake and asleep at the same time, neither fully one nor the other. On day 11, after 264 hours without sleep, he held a press conference. He spoke to reporters. He answered their questions, and then he finally went to sleep. He slept for 14 hours and 46 minutes straight. When he woke up, he seemed completely fine. He went about his day normally. But here's what most people never hear about. His recovery sleep was anything but normal. Researchers found his REM sleep was wildly elevated. REM is the phase where your brain processes memories and emotions and repairs itself. His brain was desperately trying to cram days of missed repair work into a single night. It was working overtime to fix the damage that 11 days without sleep had caused. And in the years that followed, something concerning emerged. He reported ongoing difficulty with sleep for decades after the experiment. His brain's relationship with rest was permanently changed by those 11 days. Now, here's where it gets interesting and a little controversial. Some researchers actually believe he suffered no lasting damage at all. Others strongly disagree and point to the decades of sleep problems as evidence. The scientific community still hasn't settled this debate. But here's what they do agree on. After just 24 hours without sleep, your brain functions like it's legally intoxicated. After 48 hours, microsleeps start happening, whether you want them to or not. After 72 hours, hallucinations become likely. Your brain will force itself to dream while you're still awake. It doesn't ask for permission, it just takes what it needs. This experiment was so alarming that it changed the rules forever. Record-keeping organizations stopped accepting sleep deprivation attempts entirely. No one is officially allowed to try to break this record anymore. Not because a human can't survive it, but because what it does to the brain is considered too dangerous to repeat. And here's the part that should actually concern you. Most people treat sleep like it's optional. You stay up late scrolling. You wake up early for work. You figure you'll catch up eventually. But your brain doesn't work like that. Every hour of missed sleep has a measurable cost, and your brain will collect that debt one way or another. If 11 days nearly broke a perfectly healthy 17-year-old brain, think about what years of poor sleep might be doing to yours. That's the question researchers are still trying to answer. How many hours did you sleep last night? Be honest in the comments. Subscribe to Whisper Files for more things your brain never told you. The lesson is simple, but most people only understand it after struggling. In the end, the truth was more powerful than everyone expected.